Hadith. The Hadith, guys. What is the Hadith? What's the Hadith? Do you reject Hadith? Is there any Hadith you've read, looked at, whatever, heard of, that in your mind you say, I don't accept that? Yeah? Let me tell you something, my Muslim friend. If you reject any Hadith, yeah? Any, I don't give a fuck what Hadith you're looking at. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you love it or you hate it. You reject any Hadith, you know what you are? You are kuffar. Yeah? Kaffir. Yeah? That's what you are. You're a kaffir. You are a kuffar. Yeah? If you type in on YouTube, Hadith rejection, there is a whole bunch of videos, right? There's one with Muhammad hijab. Yeah? This video, right, I ain't gonna lie. Muhammad, I don't know how these people get away with it, blood. Like, but it goes to show, once you become Muslim, you get away with endless nonsense that makes no sense. You know what I mean? This guy can just say what he wants. Anyway, so this video, if you type in Hadith rejection, you'll see Muhammad hijab. It's the first video that comes up, right? Basically, in the video, there's three Muslims, and they basically reject the Hadith. Muhammad hijab comes over, right? He starts chatting his nonsense, his usual waffle. He just like keeps talking, but he's not really getting to the point of what he's saying. He starts chatting some shit about Melik and Medine, Melik and something like, and if you pronounce it one way, you're this, and you pronounce it one way, that. I don't understand none of that shit, yeah? And really and truly, if you don't know nothing about nothing, you don't need to know anything about what they're saying. Because at the end of the video is what Muhammad hijab says, and that's all that matters. He says, at the end of the video, if you reject the Hadith, you reject the Quran. End of story, point blank. That's what he says, isn't it? Yeah. Now they were arguing that doesn't apply, but I believe what Muhammad hijab says. He says, basically, right, the Hadith is speech. That's what it is, and you need to understand this speech to understand the textualizations of the Quran. That's a contradiction in itself. It's in itself. It's a whole video, that, because if you need something to make something make sense, then that's a contradiction, my guy. There's no Bible extra Hadith, is there? There isn't, bruv. Like, it don't make no fucking sense. This is what I don't like about things. If it don't make sense, bruv, if it don't make sense to your brain, you sit there, you think for 5 seconds, and if that same thought process cannot be made clear, it don't make sense. Yeah? If you're sitting there and you say to yourself it makes sense, you just blown away over the thinking process, and you just blindly have accepted what you've just heard without thinking about it. Yeah? Whatever, if that makes you feel happy, you can do that, but bro, it don't make sense. And you need to sit down and think about it, bro. Like, this Hadith shit makes no sense to my brain, start. Right, so anyway, long story short, he calls these three Muslims kuffar to their face. He even says, because they reject Hadith, atheists are more Muslim than they are. I don't know how that even makes sense. Yeah, like I don't know how that makes sense. But he says atheists are more Muslim than you, yeah, because you reject Hadith. Like, so rejecting Hadith is a real bad thing, isn't it? It's a real bad thing. Let's listen to this guy. I don't know who he is, but he's called the Thinking Muslim. He's talking some shit about rejecting Hadith. Listen to what he says.
From this point of view, it's taught in universities. Now, this Hadith skepticism is not something that's only taken up by non-Muslims. Actually, Muslims have also fallen victim to this kind of work. And a lot of times, actually, they become very adamant about it and feel like if you are going to interpret the Quran using incidents in the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, what we call asbabun nuzul, context of revelation. In Surah Al-Falaq, we talked about how there were attempts made to cast a spell upon the Messenger ﷺ. That's part of asbabun nuzul. That's not mentioned explicitly in the Quran, but this occurs in several hadith narrations.
Did you hear what he just said? I don't understand how Muslims speak, man. It baffles my mind. He just said there's a hadith which says Prophet Muhammad is fucking bonkers and he's just been tainted by something, right? It's not in the Quran, but it's in the Hadith. Isn't that just a blatant contradiction? He even, it's madness to me, fam. This is why the best Muslim you could ever be, are the ones that don't ask questions, don't doubt nothing, don't think about nothing. You just follow the shit blindly, yeah, until you drop dead. Because that's it. That's all that. Listen.
Now, when you resort to those narrations, they say, no, you know what you're doing here? You're resorting to these made-up hadith that, we shouldn't really interpret the Quran using those texts. Quran should only be interpreted on its own virtue. This is an
Quran should be interpreted on its own virtue. So, are hadith rejectors that bad? Like, I know what the hadith rejectors are doing. This is why Islam is just, I think it's madness. And all you got to do is just start with the hadith nonsense, bro. If you reject hadith, why do you reject hadith? Why do you reject it? You reject hadith because you've read a certain hadith and your brain looked at that hadith and your brain said, bro, this does not make sense to me, bro. I can't accept this. I cannot accept what I've read. That's up to you, bro. But I don't think you realise by you saying you don't accept that, you don't accept Islam. You've basically left. You probably ain't left, but you're a kuffar. You're non-believer. You can be killed if you're in Sharia law places for that. You're done. You're kuffar now. Like, I don't think they realise. They think they can just reject hadith. Like, that's why I was, bro. It's madness, blood. Al-Bukhari, yeah? Do you know that Muslims nowadays, right? This is the newest thing I've seen. No Muslims nowadays that are saying Al-Bukhari is weak and it's okay to reject him. If this is the new thing I've seen. I can't believe what I've heard. And this guy even, he at the end of his video, this thinking Muslim, he mentions this as well. He mentions that Muslims are rejecting Al-Bukhari. Bro, you reject Al-Bukhari, then what? Do I have to even like, you know what I mean? Do I have to speak about it? It's madness, isn't it? How? This is why I say, don't think if you're a Muslim. Don't think, bro. Don't use your brain in this religion. Because if you use your brain, you will use your brain and understand that shit don't make sense. And then you're fucked, innit? Ain't that insane? Ain't that insane in itself? Scholars. Like some Muslims, right? They have so many doubts, they'll go to their scholars. The scholars won't actually tell them the truth. They'll tell them what they want to hear, which is, it's DAIF, it's weak. The trusted scholars in Islam have all rejected this hadith. Do not have to worry. The Prophet Muhammad and Allah, they will guide you. But some Muslims, that's all they want to hear. You know, some people like, you just want to hear what you want to hear. You told them that, they're good, you know? But like, you could challenge a scholar. What if you challenge him? Will he get angry at you? I don't know. Hey, let's listen to this guy.
Simplification of the matter. And I'm not going to give you a defense of hadith literature in this session. That's not.
He's not going to give a defense of hadith literature in this session. Why not? If you need to do that. That's the most important fucking thing you need to be doing right now because people are rejecting hadith. It's funny how he doesn't do that. Also, comments are turned off in this video. You can't comment. Yeah, he's just said he's not going to go into great detail about why bruv, what Muslims do and get away with, I think it's just incredible. But anyway, go on, let's go.
Subject today at all. But I will tell you some fundamental things that we have to keep in mind. People who say that, the Quran is critical, but the hadith literature is not, it can't even be trusted. There are several very basic issues with it, even without getting any deeper.
Did you hear that?
The Quran is transmitted to us by means of the companions of Allah's Messenger. Radiallahu anhum ajma'in. The entire body of hadith literature is transmitted to us by what means?
What? Tell me.
The same Sahaba. If you say they can't...
So, what he just said is this. This guy's confirming some shit. He just said the Quran is revealed by Prophet and the Sahaba. Yeah? The hadith is revealed by who? I didn't know. But the same people. Ding, 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 ding. Like, what more do I need? I don't need, for me, I don't need to know anymore. I know enough. You know what I mean? It's madness. But like, bro, if you're on the fence and you listen to this right now, this guy who is a Muslim, right? He's just said the Quran came down by the prophets and the Sahaba. The hadith came down by the Prophet and the Sahaba. That means, without even asking the question, if you reject one of those two, you are not a Muslim. Point blank, period. Anyway, listen more. Just listen.
Trusted with hadith, then by extension, you are also saying they can't be trusted with.
You're right. I agree with you. I fully agree with what you just said, my guy. He basically just said what I just said. If you fam, it's madness. If you don't agree with that, bro, you're kuffar. End of story. Anyway.
Also, when you're saying that the Quran does not have contradictions,
Look, he says
because
more.
anybody who says I believe in the Quran but I don't take the Sunnah seriously or Hadith seriously, I'm just going to rely on the Quran. Then they also come with the claim that the Quran does not have contradictions. It can't.
It can't.
But if you don't turn to the Sunnah, you'll be very confused because the Quran will.
If you don't turn to the Sunnah, you'll be baffed. You'll be completely jinnozed. Yeah, you won't have a clue. This is why I say the best Muslims are the ones that don't think. Because if you think, you will go through what I've gone through and listen to all this nonsense. And it's madness. It's madness, bruv. I'm sorry, bruv. Like, I've seen madness in all my life. I've seen it, bruv. I've seen madness. I've seen people walk down the street naked. I've seen a guy's whole house painted, you're a paedophile. I've seen madness, bruv. I've seen things that don't make sense to my brain. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is mind-blowing insanity that I just cannot understand. Let's continue. Listen to this guy.
فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم. Even if between you and the other there is animosity, treat him like your most intimate friend.
Listen to this.
In a passage talking about da'wah and the ethics of da'wah, Allah says, even if the person is showing you animosity, treat him like an intimate friend. But then you read another passage in the Quran and Allah says, وَاقْتُلُوهُمْ حَيْثُ ثَقِفْتُمُوهُم وَأَخْرِجُوهُم مِّنْ حَيْثُ أَخْرَجُوكُم وَالْفِتْنَةُ أَشَدُّ مِنَ الْقَتْلِ.
We
Kill
laughing
them
at?
wherever you find
What's
them.
he laughing at?
Expelled
I got to replay that.
Expelled them from where they expelled you.
I've got to replay that. Listen to that. He basically says that you read something that says, oh, treat everyone that treats you wrong with kindness and love. And then you read something else in the Quran and it says, kill them wherever you find them. This guy laughs when he read that. Why are you laughing? It's fact. This is what you do in a Sharia law country. What are you laughing for? Look, I now know why he's got the comments turned off. I mean, no brainer, innit? But I want you to listen to that carefully. Bear in mind, this is the topic is hadith rejection, and he just literally stated a contradiction. Because on one hand, you got take care of your enemies or don't be mean to your enemies, and then the other one says kill them if you find them. So which one's the truth? I actually understand now why people reject hadith, but you can't do it. It's madness, guys.
But then you read another passage in the Quran and Allah says, وَاقْتُلُوهُمْ حَيْثُ ثَقِفْتُمُوهُم وَأَخْرِجُوهُم مِّنْ حَيْثُ أَخْرَجُوكُم وَالْفِتْنَةُ أَشَدُّ مِنَ الْقَتْلِ. Kill them wherever you commit friends.
Listen.
If you don't turn to the Sunnah, you'll be very confused because the Quran will say, فَإِذَا الَّذِي بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَهُ عَدَاوَةٌ كَأَنَّهُ وَلِيٌّ حَمِيمٌ. Even if between you and the other there is animosity, treat him like your most intimate friend.
Intimate friend.
In a passage talking about da'wah and the ethics of da'wah, Allah says, even if the person is showing you animosity, treat him like an intimate friend.
This is a hadith.
But then you read another passage in the Quran and Allah says, وَاقْتُلُوهُمْ حَيْثُ ثَقِفْتُمُوهُم وَأَخْرِجُوهُم مِّنْ حَيْثُ أَخْرَجُوكُم وَالْفِتْنَةُ أَشَدُّ مِنَ الْقَتْلِ. Kill them wherever you find them. Expelled and
funny,
expelled them from where they expelled you.
Funny,
and the trial and tribulation and corruption they're causing is worse than the fighting. If you think fighting is bad, what they're doing is even worse. So on the other hand, you're supposed to treat them like your best friend. On the other hand, you're engaged in fighting.
Listen to what he says.
Seems like a contradiction unless you understand the...
Seems like a contradiction unless you understand what? Understand what? If you've already said you have to believe both, or you're not a Muslim, what's there to understand? Basically, they're both fact, yeah? There's nothing wrong with the hadiths, yeah? Yeah? For what? Oh, is that hadith weak? Because weak basically means reject. If something's weak, you disregard it. It's weak. DAIF! Fabricated, weak! Anyway.
Context of this ayah and the context of that ayah.
Ayah.
will not tell you the context. The first ayah of a surah isn't هذه سورة مكية or هذه سورة مدنية. This is a Madani surah. This is a Makki surah. This was revealed at this time. So understand it in this context, and that was revealed at...
He's actually saying the same things what Muslims will tell me sometimes when I'm quoting hadiths. They say, oh, this was revealed in such and such time and such time. Bruv. There's hadiths that say Muhammad was bewitched. He used to throw himself off of cliffs. He sucks the tongues of Hassan. He lets boys sleep on his lap or was lit on his lap. There was a boy in his bed, took a shirt off. there's so much. You could write a whole book about the madness of the things that you find in Hadith, bro. And these Muslims that reject these things, but you just can't do it. So this whole video, what this guy's made, is a contradiction in itself, because he's literally stated, I think, at least 2 contradictions which are true, and you still have to follow it. So at the end of, so basically, right? Oh my God, I don't understand. This guy, in this video, you actually understand why Muslims reject Hadith. You actually understand why. He actually gives you a point blank, really good reason why people do it. Yeah. He doesn't use that as to why, but that's, I'm giving you, because he actually says, you know, if you read the Hadith, it will say do this, and you read the Quran, do that. A contradiction, right? He blatantly says it. But, you know, you have to just basically accept it and ignore the bad things about it. Like, look, listen.
Time, so you understand that does not happen in the Quran. Context comes essentially and primarily from Hadith literature, from the Seerah literature. He just
contradicts himself. He said context comes from the Hadith, but Hadiths don't make any sense. So what the fuck? You have to listen to something that's completely bent backward and makes no sense to make sense of the Quran. Are you fucking nuts? Anyway.
So this oversimplification can lead to many, many, many problems. Now
oversimplification? You mean over fucking confusification? Because that, it just makes no sense. Of course it's gonna and that's gonna cause confusion because it makes no fucking sense. You're gonna self-doubt yourself.
I'm not gonna get also into the psychology. Why would somebody be so adamantly against Hadith literature? What's the, you know,
Listen, he's gonna mention al-Bukhari.
The irony of it all is that the people who are adamant about this stuff, they actually declare themselves champion of the Quran and the only voices of genuine Islamic understanding, and everybody else is pushing a deviant, corrupted understanding of Islam. So,
but what if they're right? Isn't that funny? What if they got a point? But these Hadith rejectors don't realize that they've left Islam. They've effectively left it, but they're still Muslim. So when he says they're champions of Islam, I know what he means by saying that. He means, like, say you're a Quran alone, and you don't reject those insane, horrible hadiths that you've read, you're better than the other Muslims. And clearly, Muslims don't like that. True Muslims who don't ask questions, who don't have doubts, who follow it blindly. Yes, I follow that sunnah. Yeah, the one where it says I spit into a cup and, you know, I've got to use Muhammad's spit and whatnot. Do you follow that? Some people don't follow that. It's madness, isn't it? It's such a divide. It makes no fucking sense, bro. But watch what he says about al-Bukhari. And this is what I'm saying. I've only just started. There are some people that literally reject al-Bukhari. I think Shias do it more, but I just think some Muslims are just basically they're listening to so much madness. They cannot accept what they're hearing. They cannot accept it. I had a guy tell me, "Oh, are you telling the truth about what this hadith is?" They've never seen this hadith. Why have you not seen it? You're not meant to see it, that's why.
They actually portray themselves as heroes of the religion that are taking these courageous steps against these horrible traditional scholars.
See?
And they literally, the conversation I had last week with a brother had very foul things to say about even Imam Bukhari rahimahullah. And I couldn't believe my ears. I knew this stuff existed, but it's become more and more popularized. Of course, also because...
See? That's what I just said. This guy, I'm surprised this video's still up, to be fair. He just said he had an argument with a guy who used foul language. The guy didn't use foul language. The foul language came from him talking about the Quran. Use your brain here. And he basically said al-Bukhari, this, that. Basically, what he didn't say it specifically, but what he's basically saying, what I just said, people are rejecting al-Bukhari. And that's madness. That's madness. That's most Muslims' gospel and go to whatever. So if you reject al-Bukhari, you are 1 billion% a kufr. I'm sorry. Like, I feel sorry for some Muslims, man. I really do, because they just don't know. They just don't know. Like, you don't know, innit? Like, look, yeah, I was born as a Christian. I know I was, right? My mum said I was baptized. I went Sunday school, and that was it. When I became a teenager, obviously I don't go to church. I don't fucking pray. I don't give a shit about none of that crap. You know what I'm saying? On the road, man, I just grow up, innit? Like, I don't care. Yeah, that's it. Like, I don't know, like, but like, I've yet to hear a hadith from a Bible that says Jesus had some guy sitting on his lap, or he put his tongue down the throat of some kid, or some shit like that, or he beheaded 800 people, or he killed a blind man. Didn't Jesus make a blind man see, and all them sort of things there? Like, when you compare Jesus to Muhammad, right, it's night and day, fam. But like, even if you don't know nothing about either of the two, just read the Hadith and then ask the question, why is there no Hadith for the Bible? I don't know. Like, I don't fucking know, bruv. Like, it's all madness, fam. There's so much, and it's like, it's madness, fam. It's madness, bruv. Anyway, man, I don't know, man. I love my Muslim brothers. I know so many Muslims, so many. But I think even the Muslims that I know, do they really know this stuff? I don't think they do. I don't think they know the true deepness of it, the madness of it. They don't know, blood. And I bet you, if I told them this, they'll just say, no, Aki, you're wrong, fam. Like, allow it. Or they'll quickly make me not speak about it. They'll be like, oh, no, fam, take it down. Like, you can't talk that, blood. But they'll be all right with me because I man them. They'll be like, no, blood, you can't do that. And that's it. And I'll leave it alone. And then like, well, you know, it's true though, bro. Like, it's mad, isn't it? Is what it is, guys. Is what it is. Hadith rejection. Let's see what he says with this guy.
The spread of the web and things like that. Inshallah ta'ala, when the time comes, I will be doing a series on just a respect, not even the authenticity of the sunnah, just respect for the sunnah, just that.
So, he's going to make a video, not on the authenticity of the sunnah, which is the most important thing, because authenticity means preserved. He's gonna talk about the respect of the sunnah. Alright, as a Muslim, I'm gonna ask you just one question. What is more important? The authenticity of the sunnah or the respect of the sunnah? That's the question I'm gonna leave to you guys. Please answer it, and I don't want you to say both. One is more important than the other, because for me, the authenticity of the sunnah is more important than respect, because you will gain respect from its authenticity. If you respect it and it hasn't got no authenticity, then you're just blindly respecting something without true knowledge. Use your brain, guys. Open your ears. Open that third eye. Yeah? Open that third eye. Close your eyes and open that third eye and think deep. Trust. I'm out.